You too are a lovely being. Be free, you can spread your wings. You too can do anything your heart desires. Thank you, lovely being, for joining me in this self-rediscovery. You too are a lovely being.
All right, welcome back. Peace and love, lovely beings. My name is Lee. This is You Two Are a Lovely Being, and we're back for another episode. Today's talk is going to be about rest, the importance of rest, being within the season of rest, because right now we are in the winter, and some things that I do to rest, even when I am not sleeping, because all rest can be active as well. It does not have to always mean you're asleep. So, my intention for today's talk, I wanted to talk about rest today because I truly do believe that it is revolutionary. That's why this podcast is called Rest is Revolutionary, um, because we live in a society where resting isn't encouraged. It's not only not encouraged, but as a melanated woman specifically, we aren't encouraged to rest. And we're actually like demonized almost for resting. If we're not being productive, if we're not helping, we're not caring, we're not supporting, we aren't doing for others, it makes it hard to do for yourself. And it really makes it hard to rest. But rest is really important for not only your health, um, but just like your life for the longevity. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. And I appreciate you for joining me in today's talk. And I hope that at the end of this, you are not only inspired by the words that I share, but that you are encouraged to seek rest in different ways and to treat yourself more often and care for yourself in ways that allow you to incorporate more rest into your life, especially as we are wrapping up this winter season. And yeah, welcome. Welcome back to You Two Are a Lovely Being. So to start off, like I said, this talk is inspired by the current season that we're in, which is winter. It's been winter now since December 21st, I believe was the winter solstice. And come March 19th, it'll be the spring equinox. So we are almost there. We're almost there. We are almost a month shy. Like I can feel the spring, especially if you're in the Midwest, you're up north, here in the States. I don't know outside of Chicago, but it's been really nice weather too. So I feel like winter is wrapping up for sure, and spring will be here before we know it. So I'm really looking forward to that. Mainly because of the weather, but also because it'll the shift that comes with the springtime, which I'm sure I'll talk about when when we enter that season. So yeah, I'll start out by reading this quote, um, which I stumbled upon earlier this week, and I was like, "Oh, that's perfect," because I knew I wanted to talk about this on the podcast. So the quote is from a book called Sabbath. I have not read the book, but I saw the quote was posted by a yoga and like fertility specialist who I follow on YouTube, and she shared it. And the book is called Sabbath by Wayne Mueller, and this is the quote. Sabbath honors the necessary wisdom of dormancy. If certain plant species, for example, do not lie dormant for winter, they will not bear fruit in the spring. They will not bear fruit in the spring. If this continues for more than one season, the plant begins to die. A period of rest is not simply a human convenience, it is a spiritual and biological necessity. I'll repeat that. Rest is not simply a human convenience, it is a spiritual and biological necessity. A lack of dormancy produces confusion and erosion in the life force. End quote. I saw that quote. I saw this quote and I was like, that sums it up perfectly. And I'm so glad. Of course, people have written about this. I'm not the first person to see rest as revolutionary or as a restorative act, as something that's more than necessary to do just at the end of the day, but something to do throughout the day, throughout your lifetime. This quote really like said it all, but the piece that I want to touch on the most is one, we are the plants in this scenario. And just like plants, we must have times of dormancy because is rest should be prioritized rather than like looked at as a reward. Like I said, it's not just something that's reserved for, okay, it's the end of the day, I gotta sleep now because I need to sleep now because I'm so tired, and tomorrow I'm gonna start the day all over again. Which even personally, like, I've been feeling like that even though this is the season of rest. Like, I've had a very full January, a very full February so far. And although I'm not like doing like I'm not doing things that are intense, but I found that my days and my weeks have been so full that when I am resting, I'm in within my moments of rest throughout the day, throughout the week. Like, I really need it because my mind needs that time to just not be stimulated, to not be doing anything. And it's really helped me during this time because I I feel like this is one of the busier winters that I've had, because I've just been more focused. And yeah, so very rest is super important, and I feel like we're we as a people are just not encouraged to covet doing less. And I've talked about this here on the podcast as well. I had a talk called Stillness where I spoke on the importance of being still, but how it's difficult to lean into that way of living when everywhere you look around. Even myself, like, I grew up family, like working class family, like my mother worked every day, family working every day. Work. Rest was very much like a the end results of doing everything. So I I'm still learning how to incorporate rest into my life as well. But reading a quote like this quote, one, made me want to read the book, but also just it really put it into perspective. Like, resting isn't just for, it's not just because we have to. It's we like really we yes, it is because we have to, but it's really important for not only our physical health but for our mind and our spirits, which is the part that I like the most from the quote, is that it touched on the spiritual aspect of the self and how our energy is so, when your energy is depleted, like, I feel like your spirit, first it impacts your mind when your energy is depleted, then it hits your spirit, and then once you really hit a wall, then your body starts taking the brunt, and that's when you start feeling the physical effects of not being fully rested. And that's not just with sleep, because some people can sleep for like 10, 12 hours at a time, wake up, and then their life, if your life continues on the same and you're only incorporating rest for those periods of time, they still feel tired. Like, you'll just feel an air of tired. And I've experienced that before where no matter how much sleep I've gotten, like, I feel tired within. I still don't feel well rested. And I'm grateful that I haven't felt like that in quite some time, but to experience it and now be on the other end where I'm like allowing myself to take naps in the middle of the day and things like that, like, I had the time to do so. Now I do it. I never understood why people took naps. Like, when I was in high school, I had a friend who, she always was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go home and take a nap after school," and I'm like, "A nap? Like, what you taking a nap for?" But now I'm like, naps are a necessity. Take your nap. A nap can be like anywhere between 5 minutes to an hour, and it always makes a difference. So yeah, I see, I really liked the comparison of the plant to the person and how we're similar. Um, and there are many, hold on, I'm looking at my notes because I don't want to lose my train of thought on this one. I've been thinking about this topic for a, a while now. So I want to make sure that I hit on all my points today. Um, when Yes, so like I said, when you rest, you're able to restore not just your physical energy, but your mind. And when your mind is given the time to really like recuperate itself, not only like you'll sleep deeper, your dreams you'll remember your dreams more, which can help you in your waking life. They can reveal things to you, help you reflect, help you to center yourself, bring things into your awareness that you may not be aware of during your waking time. But it also can help bring clarity because your mind is given that time to recuperate. Then when you are awake and you are in the act of doing and you are in the act of connecting with other people, communicating with other people, you're experiencing life, it gives you not a not necessarily a fully blank slate, but like a blanker slate to process and feel and emote and continue to grow as a person. When your brain hasn't been given that time off, outside of just like your regular going to sleep at night, it kind of like it'll that energy piles up. You're not even able to access it and transmute it in a way that's purposeful for you. So resting is important in all aspects of the self, through the mind, the body, and the spirit. It affects all parts of the self. And like I said, right now it's a season of rest because we're in the winter. Plants, like the quote said, are dormant. Trees dormant. Everything's restoring itself so that in the spring it can be anew. It can spring new fruit, bear fruit. For the plants that are not doing that, they are not going to survive. And just like the plants, we as people, we as human beings, cannot thrive in life with depleted energy. So, practicing rest as as restoration, as something that's not just the end goal in a day-to-day in the day-to-day of your life, helps you to thrive in life. It can help you thrive, truly. um there's so many things that you're able to do when you're not tired. Is It sounds so simple to say, but it's really like, because there's so many things, there's only so much time in a day, and there could be so many things that you want to do, so many things you want to experience, and honestly things that you have to do, like working and being in certain spaces and doing things just to take care of yourself. But rest is a part of that care. Rest is just as important. So during this time, especially while we're in the winter, I feel like the plants are a good model for what we should be doing. And I've personally been trying to live within the seasons and to practice seasonal living by doing a little bit more of what nature is doing during different times of the year. And right now, nature is doing nothing. So, although I'm still in my creative practices, I'm working, I'm still active, but I try to tend to rest a little bit more during this time of year because it can make a world of a difference. Where when in the spring, I know for a fact in the spring and the summer, I'm going to be 10 times more active than I am right now, as far as like being out and about, being around others. Like that takes up way more energy, and I'll have the energy for it because right now I'm choosing to rest more than going out and like doing a lot and overexerting myself and ultimately depleting my energy for the rest of the year. And it's so crazy because January is the new year, like the calendar new year, which kind of tricks people into going all gas, no brakes into the new year in the middle of winter. In the middle of winter. And then a lot of people crash, like, because it's just not, it's not in alignment for this time of year to be doing the most. You know what I mean? Summertime, do the most. The sun is out, longer days, energy's there. It's the time to be out and doing all of that. But right now, it's time to rest. So, yeah. And another thought that I really just a belief that I want to put out there is that resting does not make you lazy. You are not a lazy person if you prioritize rest and living a life of ease. I remind myself all the time I am not lazy for resting. I am not lazy for wanting to my life to not be hard. I don't seek a hard life. My life is easy. I want an easy life. I want a life that is simple, a life of ease day to day. And sleeping, doing less, doing nothing, just laying down and like watching TV, spending time, like quality time with friends or family or friends and family, and doing less, not really doing much, just being together. None of that makes you lazy. None of that makes you a lazy person because you're not within productivity, you're not producing, you're not working, you're not actively earning money or whatever. Like it, that doesn't make you a lazy person. I believe like if more people rested and we had a more rest rest inclusive society, people, the world would be so different. People would be much happier, probably. And it's a shame that we're not, everyone isn't given because of the way that the world is set up, right? Like, I'm not naive to that. The way that our society is set up, a lot of people on purpose are not given, especially melanated people, are not given the space, the time, because their time is being eaten up by having to work and produce and do and show up and often take care of other people, especially as a woman. And that doesn't leave a lot of time for rest, and that's on purpose. That is on purpose. That is not a, that's calculated because they know how divine and amazing we are at our best, so they don't want us to receive that or reach that. They kind of like, if you're really wrapped up in the matrix, then your life kind of takes on that flow, and it makes it hard to prioritize things like active resting and sleeping and just being zen. But it doesn't have to. You can do whatever you want to do, which is also something I want to stress. Like, you can do whatever you want. Ultimately, you're free to do whatever you want. So, yeah. Let's see. What else did I want to talk about? Okay, yes. So now I've talked about rest, the season that we're in and all that good stuff. Now I'll share some of the ways that I rest when I, even when I'm not like literally like asleep, you know? Because there are many ways to have rest without, that are just as restorative without you sleeping. And some of those include reading a book instead of scrolling on your phone. I believe that our phones sap our energy. Like, just even just holding the phone in your hand, like having technology on in your palms, like your palms are an energy center. It affects us. That saps your energy. So doing things in place of that, like reading or going for a walk or listening to music and doing something else, or just listening to music and just being, just laying there or just sitting wherever you are. Going outside, even if you don't feel like walking, going outside and just sitting on a bench or something and like observing and just being there. That's restful. Enjoying being outside in the natural elements. That's active rest. Just laying on the ground, laying still. Like I practice yoga, and there's a pose at the end where we just lay on the mat on our backs and don't do anything. We just lay there. That's active rest. I actually went to a yoga class last month, and it was my first restorative yoga class. And in the class, I was like, whoa, like there are only 7 poses, I believe. For that whole hour that I was there, we did 7 poses. And each pose, we held it and just stayed there and stayed within that posture. And as I was doing it, and the teacher was talking at some points too, like, she was like, you don't have to be doing a lot to to be resting. This is an aspect of rest as well. Like, look at what you're doing right now. Like, you're practicing yoga, but you're relaxing at the same time. And we're just holding the poses and breathing. And I almost fell asleep at some points because we were just holding, like, laying in the same position for like 10 minutes, 8 minutes at a time. And I was like, I'm technically like, I don't look at yoga as exercise, but it could be considered exercise. Like, I was exercising, but I was also like laying down and just sending air into the parts of my body that hadn't received it, a little bit or at all, you know? So that was a really nice experience for me. And I'd recommend that as well. Like, yoga is rest. Yoga is a way of being in active rest, especially if you're doing more slow forms like restorative yoga, not necessarily like vinyasa or something like that, which is more intense, but there are different yoga practices that involve just breathing and laying in the same postures for extended amounts of time. And that can help you to tap into this energy as well. And another way that I actively rest is by going to bed early. And that means like I'll get in bed before I want to be asleep, and I'll just like get comfortable in my bed and I'll enjoy the time. Really been enjoying my time in the bed. Like, I'm in the bed right now. I was taking a nap before I recorded this, and I've just been enjoying, like, allowing myself to do that more. I got so disciplined when I was in college with, like, because my everything I needed was in my room. But I got into the habit of like not being in my bed during the day because I was like, oh, if I get in there during the day, like, I'm gonna distract myself and not be doing, quote unquote, like what I'm supposed to be doing. I wish I could go back now. I would have taken so many naps in college. It would have served me. It would have served me so well, but it's okay because I'm doing it now. Um, so I've just been like enjoying my lounge time and enjoying my lounge space before I'm actually asleep, and that's really been serving me. I've just been enjoying laying in the bed. It's so nice, especially as someone like myself. Like, I I am pretty active, so to just allow myself to lay here and sit here sometimes, it feels really nice and like a gift to myself. And yeah, those are some of the ways that I actively rest. And yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up by with my last thought, which is that rest is revolutionary, which is the title of today's podcast, because we, especially as melanated women, I'm repeated this now. This is the third time I'm saying this because I really want to make a point of it. If you yourself are a melanated woman, you're watching this, you're listening to this, take care of yourself, okay? We have to take care of ourselves. There are so many expectations as melanated women to be the one doing it all, especially for other people. The person we should do the most for is ourselves, okay? Especially, I think most of y'all listening are like my age, 20, within your 20s, 25 or younger. Take care of yourself, girl. Take care of yourself. You do not have to be working to deserve to do nothing. You do not have to be working to deserve to rest. That is not true. Rest is essential for your life so that you can restore your energy for all the seasons that we go through, but more importantly, so that you can do what you want. with your energy, you know? It just helps you replenish. And we need that, especially as women. The whole month, every day of the month, our hormones are different. We are flowing differently, which means we're experiencing life differently every single day. We don't wake up with the same composition every single day. It's different. So at different times of the month, we need different things. And for me, especially like right before my cycle starts, my moon starts, I need way more rest than like at the beginning of the month or like after my cycle's passed already. Um, I recognize that I need more rest because I'm in a slower flow right before my period starts. So take take time to for yourself. Give that to yourself and rest so that you can pour back. It's pouring back into yourself so that you can put good out. You know, when you do have to give, when you do have to produce, like you got to start with you. And I feel like rest is revolutionary because we aren't encouraged to do so. By doing so, it shows others that it's okay to do so, and it allows us to return back to our natural state of being, which isn't in the survival mode of doing, resting last, doing first. No, our natural state of being is thriving. That's our natural state of being, is thriving. And thriving, resting, I mean, allows you to return to this aspect of yourself because it gives you the time to reflect and appreciate and look back at where you've been so that you can move forward, which is also what the winter time is for. The time we're in right now is a period of rest and a period of reflection. And when you rest, you're better able to reflect. And that is why rest is revolutionary. So go take a nap, go for that walk, go lay down, go do your stretches, do what you got to do today to give yourself some rest. And do that every day and not just at the end of the day when you're about to go to bed. Try to find that time, even if it's just 5-10 minutes here and there. Take that time to give your brain a break, give your body a break, and do nothing. It's okay to do nothing. Um, and those are my thoughts for today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you received something positive from what I shared. And if you did, feel free to share this with a friend, with a loved one, with your partner, whoever. And yeah, give us a follow on Instagram at You Two Are a Lovely Being. I'll be sharing this talk as a blog on my website, lovelees.com. It'll be in the description for today's episode. And yeah, make sure you go check it out. Be on the lookout for Instagram posts, all that good stuff. I appreciate you. I hope you have a lovely rest of the day. As always, love, sunshine, peace.
Thank you, lovely being, for joining me in the self rediscovery. You too are a lovely being.